Oh, come on, man.
Excuse me?
The movie is ridiculous, and we've got to call this out. This entire narrative around this movie, The Odyssey, is just stupid, and I'm using that word deliberately because the casting choices of the director, Christopher Nolan, undermine everything else in this movie. Even when conservatives like Ben Shapiro claimed the movie was a masterpiece, it is not. Casting a biological woman to play a Greek warrior is not a masterpiece, it's a disaster. Casting a black woman from Nigeria, which is over 2,500 miles away from Greece, to play Helen of Troy is not a masterpiece, it's a disaster. It's stupid. Mythical or not, and I don't care how good a director Christopher Nolan thinks he is, that's overrated too. And now Elon Musk says he's going to produce his own AI version of the Odyssey that's historically accurate by the end of this year, just to prove a point. That's how serious this has become. You wouldn't cast Tom Hanks to play Mary Poppins. You wouldn't cast Meryl Streep to play Princess Jasmine in Aladdin. You wouldn't cast a dolphin in the remake of Jaws, because casting matters, and central casting matters even more. What are you going to do? Cast Elliot Page to play in Rocky 2, a new Rocky remake? I don't think so.
Hey, Lindsay Schultz.
Hi, William Turk. What's
How are
going
you?
on?
You just got
I
back from
am
the Odyssey.
amazing.
You-
Dude. Oh, have I got a review?
okay. All right. We're going to cover. By the way, I need to say this hour. Well, actually, the Lindsay and Bill is brought to you by the Spine Bookshop. Spine Bookshop helping Democrats have an actual spine and Mitch McConnell have an actual pulse since 2024. And well, actually, is brought to you by Big Black Men. Why big black men? Why don't you ask them why not? Your damn self. And brought
That
to
is
you by
hilarious.
feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Trying to forget my feelings of love until we get some damn sponsors up in here. How are you, Lindsay?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Like, I'm ready to go to war at this point. I'm ready to take up arms and go to battle.
All right. Medieval or ancient arms?
Ancient, very
Okay.
ancient.
Okay. Let me
Ancient
just
arms.
Let me just put a neat little bow on our introduction here. This program is very often a work born from frustration, parody, and opinion. Consult a doctor or mental health professional if you exhibit any of the following symptoms, taking any of this too seriously or personally, or if you have the urge to ban what is said in this program, or if you ever said these words, honey, hold my beer while I vote at the drive-thru. Or you can try banging some sense into your skull with a skillet or a frying pan. Failing that, just try getting a goddamn life. Right?
Yes, I love that introduction so much. It makes me so happy.
We got to say it every week for legal purposes, but
Yes.
I also wanted to do this. I'm holding up. Can you see it?
Yes. Hold up a little bit more. There
Okay.
you go.
There you go.
That's,
Sins of
yeah.
a Sire from Dan Klefstad, the
Oh,
sequel
so
to
good.
known as Guardians.
Yep.
I have been with this series when before he was publishing books, back when he was submitting articles about Fiona's Guardians in magazines.
So good.
Yeah. I have to say, and I loved Fiona's Guardians. Sin's
Yeah.
Sire uh, blows it out of the water. It's a really great read. I'm about 60 pages in, and I'm hooked.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I just spoke with Dan. Well, I saw Dan at the Imaginarium convention over the
Yeah.
weekend, and
I think we're going to try and get him and his partner on the show.
yes, we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they did a hell of a show. I've come to find out that they're going to be doing Vamp Chat live from the Spine in October.
Yes, they are. You
How
should come
exciting.
down.
I know. How exciting is that?
I'm super jacked about it. I really am.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to be great. I'm super stoked.
Also, we have a couple of we have a, this is I guess this is our entertainment show. We've got a couple of reviews to kind of shuffle out of the way before we get to the big
Yup.
one, which is the Odyssey. We've got
Yeah.
a lot to say about that. Elon Musk has a lot to say about that, but
Elon Musk can get bent. He
um,
can just shut his pie hole. Nobody cares what he says.
you're a Trekkie fan like I am.
Yes, yes, very much
I don't
so.
know if you saw season 2 of Strange New Worlds. Um,
I have not had a chance to watch that show because I do not have Paramount Plus, but I really want to watch it.
I nearly gave up on it midway through season
Yeah.
2. They went to cartoons and
What?
they had a singing episode. They pulled it
I
out at
think
the end.
singing episode has become a trope. I think a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
people are trying to recreate what Buffy did
yeah,
with
yeah.
her, which is honest to God one of the best episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer ever. But I think shows are now trying to do that as like, oh, everybody now has to have a singing episode, which is no, don't do that.
Well, they did set it up as if they were all afflicted by some other dimensional whatever.
Yeah, that's
But
that's the
just
that's the way they work that in.
it just got annoying. About
I've heard that.
halfway through, I wanted to strangle my television.
That doesn't bode well.
They pulled it out with the war with the Gorn and season
Yeah.
3. I'm about halfway through season 3. Season 3 is exceptional. It redeems the entire series, in my opinion. It,
There are a couple of shows I think that like I'm just like, okay, this needs to end. And then they do a new season and you're like,
yeah,
okay, maybe not.
yeah,
Maybe not.
yeah.
So
Well,
no, I get that.
I was very close with season 2. I read a lot of reviews on season 3 while they were putting out the episodes, and
Hmm.
it 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 sounded to me like they got their act back together and
That's
focused
good though.
on the core. Yeah, it was, but it's
Good.
very good. The special effects are really well done.
I've
Uh,
heard that. I've heard that about that show is that they do a really good job.
I feel like the actors are really coming into their characters better. Also,
Good. I love when that happens.
yeah. So the other film that we wanted to talk about was Nuremberg. Uh,
Oh,
the wife and
so
I
good.
finally saw Nuremberg
Told you
yesterday.
it was good.
It's very
So
good. It's
good.
very powerful. Um,
Mm-hmm.
however,
However.
I thought uh, Remy Malek
Mm-hmm.
playing the U.S. Army psychiatrist Doug
Yep.
Kelly was very, very good. He was
Oh yeah, I thought it
very
was
compelling.
phenomenal.
The uh, the guy that played the young Jewish soldier, and
Ah,
I forgot his name,
I
but
loved
that
him.
that monologue that he gave about his
I
family
was in tears.
was I thought was the acting highlight of the film. I was really
That
moved.
I was in tears.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that made me cry.
Russell
It was
Crowe.
so good.
Russell Crowe did a great Herman Goring.
Oh, absolutely. I did not recognize him at first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if they padded him up or if he put on a bunch of weight for that role, but I did not recognize that that's who that was at first.
Well, my wife is kind of looking at her phone and watching it peripherally, and she looked up and goes, "Is that the Gladiator guy?" And, and I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I
Well,
was I was with somebody and I looked over, I was like, that Russell Crowe? Holy shit.
but Herman Goring was a large man,
Oh, dude, he was
and
a
so
bastard too.
Russell Crowe grew into that. I will say this about the film, despite the great acting, I
Yeah.
feel that the film missed its its core. And so the
I'm going to disagree.
Robert Jackson, who played Michael Shannon, who played
Oh, so
Justice
good.
Robert Jackson,
Yep, yep, yep.
I felt that the real story was between him and Hermann Goring on the stand and preparing for that. And I feel that I felt a bit cheated in that. That
Well,
Go ahead.
not to interrupt, but I'm going to politely disagree, and here's
All right.
why. I think it comes down to one scene, and it's the scene after they've shown the video
Yeah.
of the videotape of
Of the Holocaust. You you dropped out. I can't hear you, hon. You lost
the
your audio. Yeah, and there you go.
hang on one second.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing comes down to the one scene where Remy Malik is sitting there and he's watching Goran face as the
Yeah.
videos are being shown.
Yeah.
And he realizes that he has been had and that Goran is a piece of crap.
Right.
And that, and so they have that fight afterwards where he's trying to say, well, the Americans do this and this and this. And Remy Malek says, there is a difference
Yeah.
between blowing up a building at 2 a.m. to minimize the casualty of war and then building factories to mass genocide an entire race of people, and you know it.
Right.
And I just thought that whole thing, that there it is. That right there it is. That is the whole point of the movie, is that you damn well knew that what you were doing was wrong, and you did it anyway, and you did it without giving a crap. And that makes you a shitty, horrible person. And because you knew what you were doing was wrong.
I thought that Russell Crowe in that role made some brilliant parallels in his role to to the sociopathy that's run amok in modern politics.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
And
But
which
I think that one scene for me was
yeah.
the caveat of the entire
Which speaks
entire
to
movie.
Jackson's point that there are people like this in every society.
Yep.
Not This was not a German thing. This was not German DNA. This
Nope.
this was and that radio announcer who said you're not going to sell books by attacking the American public.
Well,
And
and I mean, but the thing is, that guy was right though.
yes,
Is that
yeah,
it wasn't an American, it wasn't a German problem. It was a human problem.
yeah,
And as much as we don't want to admit it, it is a problem.
yes,
And he was 1,000% correct. And the other thing too about all of that is you look at what we did to the guy in England whose name I can never ever remember, who the code breaker guy.
okay,
And then you look at what we did to Oppenheimer, and you
right,
look at what we did to that side. We used them for their intelligence to accomplish a goal,
yeah,
and then once we accomplished that goal, and they tried to warn us that what we were doing was going to have catastrophic fallout,
yeah.
instead of listening to the very people that we have put in charge of something that is so important, we burned their reputation to the ground because they were holding up a mirror to
Mhm.
our reflection that we did not want to see.
Indeed, indeed. No, I completely agree. So, um, I have to give Nuremberg out of 5 stars, 4.5 stars, just for that,
Sure.
that Michael Shannon, he's a great actor,
Oh,
and,
yeah, he
and
was fantastic.
and I really wanted more of him. So
Yeah, I always want more of him in movies because and I always mess up this word, enigmatic. When you want, like, I can't stop staring at him when
yeah,
he's on screen, whether he's playing a good guy or a bad guy. I don't care.
yeah.
I can't stop staring.
All right, let's get into the Odyssey.
Oh.
Give us your first impressions, and then I've got a
Okay.
lot to say.
Okay. So I personally have read that story, both the
Sure.
Iliad and Homer, at least 2 or 3 times,
Yes.
and in its various forms, right?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
various retelling.
In its narrative form and in its poetic
Yeah,
form.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love this story. The story of Homer, or not Homer, um
Odysseus.
his, thank you. I was like, his name has just completely blanked out of my head. That Odysseus, and all he wants to do is go home.
Yeah.
He has done what's been asked by him, and he just wants to go home.
Mhm.
And there's and I'm
Which
bringing
is
in
my
epic.
wife's general attitude every day at work. She's done
Yeah,
what she
right.
has to do. She
And
just
I
wants to
just
go
want to go
home.
home. And I'm gonna bring in Epic the musical, which I sent you the link to as well, because there's a song about becoming the monster.
Uh-huh.
And so I think that Christopher Nolan did a very good job
Hmm.
as kind of depicting. So you've done your job.
Yeah.
You have come in, you have sacked this city, and you have rained hell on this city. And there's this scene where Odysseus is standing around watching the absolute mayhem
Right. Right.
of the sacking of Troy, and
Right.
watching this unhinged chaos, and having this moment of shit. I don't, what did we do?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and I thought it was a really actually quite brilliant moment for the character, because everybody else is, pillaging and killing and fighting, and he's standing here going, "Oh God, what did I do?" You
So
know,
the right wing has gone completely out of their mind
oh,
uh,
Jesus Christ. Of course they have.
for for the racial makeup. So Corey Hawkins plays Polybius. Um,
Which is great.
yeah,
And Helen of Troy is played by Lupita. I can never get
Lupita
her name
Nyong'o.
right
Lupita
yet.
Nyong'o. Yeah, yeah.
I think,
And
holy crap, she does a good job.
she's a stunningly beautiful woman. Um,
Oh my God. Oh
so
my God.
but they have this all white fantasy. So Elon
Which is
Musk
stupid.
Elon Musk is paying Mel Gibson $100 million to make a grok version, a quote unquote historically accurate grok version.
First of all, none of those
Never
people were
mind,
white.
yeah, never mind that historically accurate. It's a myth.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
novel. It's
It's,
it was made up by Homer.
oh
It
God.
it has sea monsters and cyclops and sirens and
Yeah, it's a
gods.
myth.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
not a bit of reality in this thing.
right, right. So except it was based upon Troy, right?
So I will say the way that he did it, I was actually quite impressed,
Yeah.
because he starts it off with Penelope, and I'm gonna screw up these names 3 ways from Sunday, so I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize, because
Huh.
lots of Greek and letters and stuff. So Spider Man, Toby, God, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
What's the guy that plays Spider-Man? Whatever his name is.
I yeah, you're asking the wrong person. I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna pull up my phone so I can do this because I want to give this review the justice that it needs, right?
Okay.
So, um, he plays the son of Odysseus, and Anne Hathaway plays Penelope, which
Uh,
I thought was a great casting. I thought it was really good because I feel like Penelope is sometimes written off as this, oh, she's just the wife who blah 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 blah. No, I think Penelope having to fend off all of those suitors
yeah.
and their hungry ass Tom Holland. So Tom Holland plays, the son, right? And so it starts off with him coming in, and all these suitors are hanging out, and he's just like, "Really, yo, come on."
Mhm.
And so um, he wants to go find out where his father is, and you've got Robert Pattinson who plays Antinius, who's a. Let me tell you something. I have never wanted anybody to get their comeuppance so bad in my
Really.
entire life. And it was all I could do not to stand up and applaud when he finally gets his. Because he plays this smarmy, nasty, shitty, cowardy, just God. I just hated his character.
Boy,
Charlie.
you've ruined the book for everybody who wants to read it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So Charlie Theron plays the and I can't think what her name is, but the one who does the lotus eating and keeps the men on the island forever, right? Um,
Yeah, I'll bring it to you
and
in just a moment.
yeah, I can't think of what her name is. And Samantha Morton plays Circe, and they take Circe and they make it a almost kind of
Calypso. Charlie
thing,
Theron plays
where
Calypso.
yeah, Calypso.
Yeah.
So the way that this is done is he's already on the island of Calypso. And Calypso realizes that she has screwed up by keeping Odysseus this long because the gods are angry. So she has to stop feeding him lotus flowers so he'll remember. So she's asking him, how did you get here? And so this is how you get the story of what happens in Troy, right?
Hmm?
And while that's going on, you get the side story of Tom Holland, who plays the son, and Ryan Hurst, who plays Mentor, who is mentoring Odysseus' son because he's loyal to to Odysseus.
Right.
And
Right.
then John Leguizamo plays Eumaeus, who is like the blind, loyal guy, like the
Yeah.
servant guy to Odysseus. And so you've got the few and it's just that I don't know how much CGI, and I'm wanting to say there's not a lot. I really am,
Mhm.
except for maybe the Cyclops, because instead of his eye being this way, it's this way,
Yeah.
and it's kind of creepy the way they do it, but it was so good, and they stick to the whole story of them having to tie the things on their backs to get out of the cave and that kind of stuff,
Right.
and
Right.
I just feel like they did a hell of a job telling this story in the way that it is done, in that Odysseus becomes the very thing that he doesn't want to be
Yeah.
in his purpose of getting home. He becomes the villain, he becomes the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
like
there
there's
was
a song in Epic where it's like, when do I become the monster?
right. Right.
Where Odysseus is singing, is my need to come home overpowering my need to be a human being,
Mhm.
and me sacrificing my men. And I just thought it was a beautiful job. And by the time you get to the battle at the end where Odysseus is like
Well,
cleaning house.
I'm gonna come back to the racial issue with the film
Yes.
in a moment, but I wanted to because Anna and I were talking about this in the car the other day, and I pulled out our copy of the Odyssey, and
Hmm.
then I did some back reading on some academic papers
Sure.
about about uh, the portrayal, Homer's portrayal of women in this book, in this story. And there is universal agreement among scholars that I would agree with, having gone back over it again, that
Sure.
this was perhaps the most substantial rendering, the first and most substantial rendering of women in early Greek literature and,
Hmm.
and early literature as a whole. It was
And I think the depiction of women in this is strong female archetypes that move the story along, that
yes,
are
yes.
essential to the story. Even Helen of Troy. And
Hmm.
I don't think that this is a spoiler, but there's a scene where Helen of Troy is saying goodbye to Odysseus' son.
Yeah.
And as she hugs him goodbye, she says, "Please tell your mother I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for Troy. I'm so sorry for
Right.
your father. I'm so sorry for everything. I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
So there is this guilt that Helen of Troy has
Hmm.
that I don't think has ever been explained or explored after the Battle of Troy and
Yeah.
what the face that launched 1,000 ships. But look at what that face cost.
So these were really substantial, crucial roles. They
Hmm.
embodied loyalty, intelligence,
Yes.
temptation, divine guidance, um,
Yes.
and 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 honestly, it kind of defined. Well, it did define Odysseus's journey.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So his epic,
Well,
moral, and thematic journey.
I think the morality of it is what I thought was so great because
Yeah.
and I mean, anybody that knows the story knows that he has a conversation with Penelope before he lets her know that
Yeah.
he's home
Yeah.
to test her loyalty as well. And he talks about the folly of man
Hmm.
and how him standing there watching the fall of Troy and him realizing we have utterly betrayed the law of Zeus
Yeah.
by coming into someone's house or being taken into their house and absolutely burning it to the fucking ground is
Yeah.
absolutely it's what we've done is so wrong, and he
It's
stands there and he
astounding.
has a lot of guilt because of that.
It's astounding the level uh, and the nuances of morality and the morality
Hmm.
play that's
Yeah,
the subtext of the Iliad and the Odyssey.
and it
The
very much is a
commentaries,
moral play.
yes, commentaries on war and commentaries
Mm-hmm.
on violence and commentaries
Mm-hmm.
on loyal. So there are all these subtexts that are built into this story that really lays the foundation for all Western literature.
Oh, I think so too. I
Yeah,
absolutely, it's one of my favorite ones.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
mean, even looking at like Cersei's argument about men and their lust for violence and
yeah,
blood and
yeah,
everything, and I think that Samantha Morton, when she's sitting there having a conversation, when Cersei's having a conversation with their
yeah,
Odysseus and she's explaining why she's done what she's done,
yeah,
and it's not this romantic thing, I think, and I've never thought it was this romantic thing that sometimes is depicted in movies and stuff.
mm,
I mean, she's full of rage and anger, and what she does to these people is ugly and violent and horrible, and the way he shot it in this movie, I was like, that's what that would look like. That
yeah.
to me is how that would look.
Indeed, indeed. We got to take a break here in just a minute, but I just
Okay.
so I wanted to finish this segment with this uh, to 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 begin a greater argument for the diversity in this play and
Mhm.
the
Oh, it's
subject
fantastic.
of race
Yep.
is that is in keeping with the spirit of
I
Homer.
think so. I do
And
too.
So
This whole concept that it's a bunch of white people is the most ridiculous bullshit thing I've ever. The same thing as like,
Shakespeare.
um, it's the same thing as Jesus being blonde hair and blue eyed. You're telling me
Well, yeah,
Jesus is
yeah.
the only blonde hair, blue eyed in the Middle East? Come the fuck on.
But but Shakespeare is such a malleable story. It
Mhm.
created so many malleable plays that I've seen them. I've seen Macbeth rendered as a
Like
film
a billion
noir,
different ways.
and there's a
Yeah.
million ways. That is the
I was in
magic
Macbeth.
behind
We
that.
did Macbeth as a Prohibition era story.
But that's the magic behind that writing.
Hmm.
And Homer's
Yep.
writing began that legacy.
Same way.
Yeah.
Same
So,
way, I think.
so
I think the same way.
we've got much more to say on this. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back in just a moment.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned for more, well, actually, with Lindsay and Bill after this quick break.
Books are adventure and discovery, and books can heal. When you open that door, like life, just imagine what awaits. I'm Lindsay Schultz, owner of the Spine Bookshop in Smyrna, Tennessee. I'm also an author and book dragon, and keeper of the Banned Book Brigade. Visit us online at thespinebookshop.com or call 615-768-9833. Illuminate your mind. The Spine Bookshop. Thespinebookshop.com. We match books to people.
Hey, folks, before we go, Lindsay and I are asking for a little bit of help. We both care deeply about books. Lindsay and I became friends over her work fighting against book bans in her home state of Tennessee. We've written a play about book bans titled, "This Play Might Offend You," and we want to bring it to the stage. This play will get national attention. We also want this play to be free. We want to make a difference in this space. Lindsay and I also understand that everyone is coming up a little bit short these days. If that's you, no worries. And we hope things turn around for everyone soon. That's a big reason why we began, well, actually, in the first place. In that case, we hope that you would please share the show and the link to our fundraiser. So we booked a theater and just need to pay for it. Not a lot, but more than two working class mooks can shoulder alone. At the end of this message and in the notes, I have posted a link to our GoFundMe. If you can spare a couple of dollars, it's greatly appreciated. If you can't, again, please share the link. Thank you. From Lindsay and me.
And now, back to the show.
And we're back. So we were talking about the elastic nature, the malleability, the adaptive nature of Homer,
Yeah.
and the Iliad and
And,
the
and
Odyssey.
let's get into the cast for a second to caveat on your point,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
So you've got Elliot Page, who is a trans man.
yeah,
You have Zendaya, who is, I think she's biracial. You've
yeah.
got Travis Scott, who is black. You've got Benny Safdie, who is, want to say that he's Iranian.
Okay.
He is, it doesn't say, but I don't, so don't hold me to that, and please don't come at me if I'm wrong, because I don't know. You've got Himesh Patel.
Uh-huh.
You've got Corey Hawkins, who's African American, Lupita Nyong'o, who's African American.
Mhm.
You've got Silo Fernandez, who's Hispanic, Will Yun Lee, who is Asian, Jesse Garcia, You've got Joven Adepo, African American, Elise Gable, who's Spanish, Nick Tarabay, I'm not sure what. Um,
John Leguizamo, who's Puerto Rican.
yeah, John Leguizamo, yep, Ches Lopez, Jimmy Gonzalez.
Mhm.
So yeah, you have a bunch of white people in here, but you also have a wide, very colorful cast of actors that are so mind-numbingly talented in this
Yeah.
movie. I just, holy crap. And for me, this is going to be one of those movies that there's some movies, yeah, okay, I can watch that when I get home, no big deal. I'll just sit on the couch and watch it. No, you got to watch this on the big screen because some of the visuals are just jaw-dropping. Because, like, so my favorite thing about that, they actually get into the logistics of what it would look like to physically be in the Trojan horse. Okay, we're going to stick 50 guys in this Trojan horse. Here is the logistics of how horrible this would actually be.
I would probably end up in the foot or the ass, knowing my
And,
luck. Um,
and they talk about that, about how some of the men, because the tide came in, drowned in the bottom of the Trojan horse, waiting for the Trojans to come and get this thing.
yeah, yeah, wow, wow. So I can make two cases for the diversity.
Okay,
The first case is a contemporary one that
sure.
modern fiction necessitates uh, a diverse audience, a diverse
You
cast,
have to.
a
You have
diverse
to.
list of characters, right? Because the internet's made us smaller. We're a smaller, more diverse, more mixed world than we were ever previously.
Absolutely.
Um, with a caveat on that is that the Aegean was extraordinarily diverse
Yep.
back then. The so
Mhm.
this takes place in Mycenaean Greece, which is roughly, and I wrote about this in and people can see it on my Substack at wcturk.substack.com in the
Yep.
history of light for the artist, where
Yep.
I talk about this very period. Uh, 1800 to 1000 BC.
Yeah,
The
I think that's about right.
the sack of Troy
Mhm.
was roughly around 1200 BC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Aegean that they were talking about, so that was in, I think, modern day Syria, um,
Okay.
where Troy was.
Okay.
So when
Sure. All right.
Odysseus was in the Peloponnese, right? So
I believe that's right. Yeah.
yeah, the
Like without having notes in front of me, I
yeah
want to say, yeah, that's right, but we could be wrong.
yeah. So um so the Aegean then encompassed everything from Syria to Greece, Phrygia, Illyria, um,
Hmm.
Thrace, Thracians, uh,
Yeah.
the Egyptians, um, all those many cultures that
Yep.
were
It was a wide variety of cultures.
indeed it was. And we weren't a static world even then. There were substantial trade routes from Africa into the Middle East, into
Yep.
Mesopotamia, into Greece and into Thrace, those and into Central Asia. So
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely.
those were long held uh, trade routes and crossing
Yeah.
dozens or perhaps hundreds of disparate communities and cultures. So
I would agree. Yeah.
so the fact that it was this homogeneous, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white uh, white
It's
group of people
ridiculous.
is
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. So,
Well, and
and then
I think that the argument could be made about, Matt Damon being cast as Odysseus, but I have to say, granted, let's have the caveat that I love Matt Damon, and
same here. He's a great actor.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think that he did such a good job of depicting the moral the morality of what they were doing versus what he wanted to do, because he starts out trying desperately to do the right thing,
Right.
but at the end
Right.
is like, fuck it, this is what we're doing, I want to go home, and if I have to do it, this is what we're doing,
Uh,
but he has a good arc at the end, because when he goes to the underworld and meets the seer, the seer tells him, you're gonna have to atone for your men.
yeah.
And he promises that he does, and he does. And I mean, but I love a good character arc. So you have this guy who's like the great leader, and the fallacy of what he's done, and and the atonement for the wrong. God, it's great. Like, I literally would have walked right back in the theater and rewatched it again.
Homer Homer wrote this, which is astounding. He wrote this 600 years before the first recorded Greek theater in with Thespis
How smart
in
he was.
532. Um, and and it was probably so this is probably based upon even more ancient traditions, more ancient storytelling traditions
Mhm.
that get us um, back to the dawn of history of
Storytelling has been a cultural, like a thread in culture
yeah,
across the world. Like, I
yeah,
did a paper in college. I took a 3 semester course, and you had to take all 3 semesters to get your grade. And it was children's literature, young adult literature, and adolescent literature.
mhm,
And so at the end of the thing, you either had to write a paper on an illustrator that you really liked,
right,
or pick a story and talk about the outreach that,
yeah,
and how. And so I picked Sleeping Beauty because, hello, um I mean, I literally have Maleficent and the fairies tattooed on me. And so I discovered through doing this 20-page paper, I mean, it was a hellaciously big paper. There are thousands of stories across the world that were oral retellings in societies of the Sleeping Princess.
yeah,
Like in
yeah,
Japan, it is a Japanese ghost story.
mhm,
In South America, it is a horror story. And then in France, you've got the whole beautiful, and then in
yeah, yeah,
Germany, you've got the Grimm's brother, where the prince's mother tries to eat them, and all.
mhm.
So, but the underlying commonality is that it's a princess. She goes to sleep. Shit happens.
I'll
And
go.
it's all storytelling.
Yeah, I'll go
All
you one more.
storytelling.
Every culture has a flood myth, a great flood myth, right?
Oh,
Including,
absolutely.
including the ancient cultures of the Americas,
Yep.
which were cut off from all those other cultures
Mhm.
20,000 years ago. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. So my supposition is that dates back to the storytelling traditions during the Ice Age when
Oh,
sea levels
absolutely.
when sea levels were many meters lower than they are now,
Mhm.
right? Because of the glaciers, the
Mhm.
glaciation.
Mhm.
When the climate began to warm, that only took a few decades
Yep.
for sea levels to rise and quickly inundated communities, hunting
Mhm.
grounds, and farmlands, which would have been traumatic and disruptive for all of these cultures around the world all at once.
Well, and like getting back to what you're saying about the different, God, just for I hear myself getting ready to say it, and I know it's going to be bad, but the different races that are in this movie,
Yeah.
the concept that anything is white owned is the most ridiculous shit I have ever heard in my life. But one, Jesus was not blonde hair and blue eyed. At best case scenario, he was very dark skinned and he was Jewish and he probably got married because that's what young Jewish men did. And he didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes. I mean, come on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We as Americans, we are not. We are foreigners. We are immigrants. We rolled up on the land, took it over, gave the Indians blankets with syphilis and that kind of stuff in it to try to eradicate them. We are the harbingers of death of America, as far as I'm concerned, because we rolled up in here and took this thing. And like you've got the guy who came in to the Aztecs and was like ripping gold out of their faces in the name of like, I'm conquering this land. You are a hard like. So I personally do not celebrate Columbus Day
Yeah.
because history has now proven that he was a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting that the argument is made, well, we need an all-white all-white version of the Odyssey. But none of those people were American. America didn't even exist when the Odyssey was written. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah. 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 I agree.
Come on.
So the other weight that I would bring to this, and really very little ever changed in human history for the first, well, up until about 500 years ago, really materially nothing changed for the predominance of humanity, right?
Nope.
They still lived with the same poor health codes and poor health habits,
We still have that now.
poor eating habits. They lived hand to mouth. They lived in an agrarian or rural or farm setting. So life really didn't change materially for people for
It's the same way
many
now. It's the same way now. We
precisely.
treat people like crap. We eat like crap. Politicians have
Yeah,
money. Poor people suffer.
yeah.
Rich people have so
So
much money now they have no reality or concept of reality about what it's like to actually have to worry about your bill. Like that has
so
been an underlying part of the human experience
it has
for as
it has.
long as I can remember. As
So
long as the world has been running.
mhm. So to add some more evidence to the diversification of the Odyssey
Right.
and all that. The Persian Empire came to power and actually occupied much of ancient Greece.
Yeah.
About 500 years after uh, after Homer wrote this, right? After the Trojan War.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and they were incredibly diverse with trade routes extending into Africa. They incorporated, they had at the time the largest occupied landmass
Yeah.
as part of that empire that extended to India and
Hmm.
Afghanistan and Iran and into the Russian steppes and as we said the much of the Mediterranean and the
Well, I
Aegean,
mean, look what Genghis Khan did,
Egypt,
for God's sakes, with the Silk
Egypt, yeah,
Road.
Egypt and uh, Egypt was an amalgamation
Hmm.
of many races, right? So,
Cleopatra is one of the biggest, like, um, leaders in multicultural trade and growth of cities.
Right, right. And she was a white woman among among
Okay,
a
yeah.
decidedly uh, Arab or African culture.
I think the amount of people that are under the impression that white
Tola.
people have done anything original is
Yeah,
hysterical to me because I
indeed.
said, what is it? The only thing that Americans have come up originally was the
Yeah,
musical. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
is what I remember. And honestly, I don't even know if that's completely accurate.
Well,
Would you consider
this
that
so
that certain cultures
yeah.
musical theater was something that they did?
The Epic of Gilgamesh was musical. That was
Exactly.
2300 BC. Uh,
Exactly. So
the
I don't subscribe to this
this
notion that, well,
Homer's
America invented the musical.
Homer's Odyssey has a musical component.
Hmm.
There's a rhythmic component that adds a musical dimension to the
And they
poetry,
bring that up in
which
the movie too.
which is important in this regard because
Hmm.
it increased it increases the memorization. It's a learning tool.
Hmm.
And at a time when playwrights passed down stories word of mouth over successive generations.
Well, and
That
see,
was-
I've said that too. Anytime I ever hear anybody say, "Oh, I hate Shakespeare," my very first question is, "How did your teacher teach it to you?"
yeah, yeah.
Because the thing is, the first thing out of the gate is that when you are reading Shakespeare, you have to read the grammar like sheet notes,
Yeah,
like music,
yeah, yeah,
because there is a certain rhythm. And if you
yeah,
really start
yeah.
studying, each play has a completely different musical rhythm,
Mhm.
and none of them are the same, which I think is a testament to how incredibly smart William Shakespeare actually was.
Well, indeed, indeed. The same thing with Homer. This is written in dactylic hexameter, which is
Hmm.
essentially
Hmm.
which look at your finger. You've got a long bone. You've got two short bones. So they did it, and dactylic is what I think
Hmm.
it's dactylos is the Greek word for finger. So
Yeah.
they counted syllables using the finger of one long syllable and two short syllables, and then they strung that out in
Hmm.
in what they called feet, 6 feet.
There's this amazing thing in the movie where Odysseus talks about hunting, and the whole
Mhm.
longbow
Mhm.
thing that, like, the challenge that you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
string the bow and whoever can do it. So in the movie, and this isn't really a spoiler, this is just something I think was a character trait that
yeah.
Nolan and Matt Damon came up with to. So Matt Damon, Odysseus has got this bow and he's getting ready to hit, and he always goes ting, and it
Yeah,
makes this
the
noise.
first musical instrument.
Yep. And so him whang that bow before he hunts it,
Mhm.
and he addresses it in the movie in that I feel like hunting, you've got to give it a
Yeah,
spirit, a spirited, or what is it he says? You've got to give it
yeah.
a fair chance.
We
And I just
started.
was like, that is brilliant. And
We
you
started.
see him on the island of Cersei go whang
Yeah.
with a
We
bow.
started with rhythm,
Yep.
the most basic form of human communication and music in
Yep.
in in work songs. So it started with rhythm, the tap tap tap
Mm.
tap 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 tap, right? So when you're grinding wheat, you're tap 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 tap. When you're making
Mhm.
enough arrows, flint arrows, to
Yep.
sustain a hunt or sustain a war against a neighboring tribe or whatever,
Yep.
it's tap tap
The
tap tap
slave
tap tap
songs.
tap tap tap.
Sl-
So,
Slave songs were a way to pass messages,
right,
about the Underground Railroad and
right.
stuff. Music and
So,
so
so
I
Homer was
watched Ken Burns,
so Homer was
the jazz
innovating
thing.
jazz. So Homer was innovating, Homer and his contemporaries, because we have to surmise that a lot of literature just didn't survive, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but Homer and his contemporaries were innovating by the measure. And
Mhm.
the most intimate and familiar aspect of measure that they had was
Yeah,
was the human body. And
yeah,
they chose the finger. One long,
yeah.
two short. And,
hmm
you
There's
know,
a scene in the Odyssey where the guy is telling a story and he's got this big staff, right? And he's
yeah,
sitting here going,
yeah. Tap, tap, tap,
as he's
tap, tap,
telling
tap.
the story, tap, tap, tap. And I remember sitting there tonight watching it going, that is literally the epitome of storytelling around a campfire, which is a
Yeah,
ancient tradition of
yeah, yeah.
let me have your attention. You
Yeah,
know,
yes.
even if you go to schools now and teachers want their kids to pay attention, they do the,
Yeah.
you know,
And we all learned as children these with through these little songs, right? The
yes,
Yeah. So when you're in preschool and kindergarten,
yeah.
you're singing songs. Uh,
Even to the basis of
because
Barney with I love you, you love me. Kids grow up with music.
because
And
that's how we learn that
yep,
that
storytelling.
and those songs, those melodies are familiar to us our entire life because they're
Mhm.
imprinted upon us.
And I was telling somebody the other day, I said, you guys, the collective you,
Yeah.
the state reps and that kind of stuff up in Rutherford County and Nashville, you want to ban drag. You want to ban books. Okay. I told somebody, I said, all right, if I ever get 3 minutes in front of the state capitol, all I'm going to do is like, all right, y'all want to ban drag? Cool. So first off, we need to ban Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Robin Williams, David Bowie, Queen,
Yeah.
SNL, Benny Hill, and I'm
Elton
just going to
John.
spend Elton John. I'm just going to spend 3 minutes listing off every
How
famous
about how about
person that
all
all
of
of you
the hair
people
bands?
love.
How about all of the hair bands of the 80s?
Every hair band,
Yeah.
every band in the 80s. I'm just going to spend
Yeah.
3 minutes listing off every single person that has ever dressed in the opposite gender of what they are that you people love. Let's ban all of them first. Then we can start banning drag queens.
So I suppose we should probably start working our way towards the end of the program, and
Yeah.
tease that you've got a drag story
Yes, I do.
time coming up. Okay,
So
that's fine.
Thursday night, we did, and I can talk about it now that it's over because
Okay,
we didn't want protesters at our shop because I
okay,
don't feel like going to jail. Um, so we had a really amazing drag queen,
yeah.
Veronica Electronica, come in and do a master storytelling class for adults about how to talk about drag and storytelling and what storytelling does for kids and why we dress up and why we don't and what kids get out of storytelling. And then today we actually did the storytelling with Veronica Electron. And let me tell you, it was fantastic. I laughed my face off. It was so much fun. And the kids were super engaged and into it. And she was hilarious.
I have a
And
picture. I have
it
a
was fantastic.
I have a picture that I took at the Chicago Pride parade a few years
Yeah,
ago of a kid sitting on her dad's shoulders, a little child, probably
sure.
2 or 3 years old, as a drag queen float is going by, And
Yeah.
the absolute joy on this kid's face is
Oh yeah.
astounding. That
My kid walked in Friday night and was like, "Oh, you have a drag queen," and then looked at her and goes, "You're really pretty," and then left because she had to go home. And I just was like, "That's my kid."
yeah, 99% of kids
Don't care.
don't care. That 1%, that kid, it was going to follow that path one way or another.
Mm.
And
Well,
they were either
so
going to be shamed into it or
mm,
shamed to do it in the shadows.
so
Or
there's
they
this
were going to be
young
proud of it.
woman who I'm not going to say her name, but if you know, you know. But
Yes.
there's this young woman who has been groomed by her parents, and I am using that word purposefully.
Yeah.
They homeschool. It is my understanding. Let me just say that to my knowledge and to what I have been told.
Yeah.
So I don't have evidence of this. So let me just, be very careful about what I'm about to say. It is my understanding that she has been homeschooled by her parents
Mhm.
and has been toured around the country to speak on religious fervor and anti-gay, anti-book ban, all this kind of stuff. And I've seen her speak, and she is borderline cruel.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. If my kid ever talked to the school board like this chick talked to the school board, I would beat her. Because she walked up at one school board meeting and was called them all by their first names, called the men beta boys, called the women I literally was aghast. And so she's now 18. And when I was talking about doing this drag story time, I have a very good friend of mine who told me that this girl has me on her radar. And I was like, cool, you're 18 now. You have big girl consequences for your big girl actions now. So come on.
Yeah.
You're not a juvenile anymore. If you want to show up and you want to act like a big girl, you're 18.
Yeah.
You're going to have big girl consequences for your big girl actions that you being a teenager will not get you out of anymore. So bring it.
I look at it like this. The right wing is constantly saying this is the freest country in the world. If
It
it's
ain't that free.
if it's the freest country in the world, then you should be able to choose what gender you want to be, right? You could
Well,
be
I'll take you
male,
one
you can
further.
be
Why do you
female,
care?
you can be trans, you can be nothing, you can be a refrigerator.
Yes.
What you want to be should be your purview, not
My
the
question is,
purview
why do you
of
care?
someone who's judgmental about
Yeah.
and squeamish and uncomfortable about facing fucking reality.
Well, and that's the thing is, and I say this all the time, I don't care. And I say I don't care and that I don't give a shit. I say I don't care and that I don't care because it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me what's in between your legs. I don't care. I
Yeah,
don't care who you marry. I don't care who you love. You want to call yourself Butter Bob. Great. That's what I don't care. It
yeah,
doesn't affect me. It has no impact on my life at all. The only thing that I care about is one, I'm busy. And if I have to stop what I'm doing to deal with your stupid homophobic racist bullshit,
yeah.
it's not going to go the way that you think. So and circling back to what we're talking about, for Elon Musk to sit there and be like, I'm going to pay Mel Gibson, who's a known anti-Semite,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pay you all this money that I'm making off the back of my employees that I don't pay very well to make this all white movie, The Odyssey. Bitch, there wasn't a white person back then. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
That just tells me that you don't read and you do not know your history and you are dumb as hell. There
they
is not a single white
they
person.
certainly weren't American.
No, America didn't exist.
Yeah,
Like what? And it's just that, like, oh my God. I listen to stuff that like you when you say stuff like that, and I joke. I feel like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, where he's standing there with that scene where he's like, and it's just like, you said that out loud, right? Like you said that stupid shit out loud. You actually put that into the universe and said that out loud, and that you heard that. You heard that come out of your mouth. Okay, that's the hill you want to die on. Cool. Okay.
Hey, find us on YouTube and Blue Sky, and definitely we're in an FBI file someplace.
Absolutely. I have, just for anybody that's listening, if you've missed an episode, I posted the link in Blue Sky to our YouTube channel with all of the episodes
Sweet.
on there.
Sweet, and we're also posting a link to our fundraiser for our play coming up in November, so we can rent. So
Yeah. Yes.
we have the play, we have the venue. We just need
Yep.
to
So exciting.
and it's
Yep.
more than two working stiffs can handle alone. So we're asking for a little bit of community help here.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great play, and we want this play to be free.
Yes.
So please,
Yes, absolutely.
go to our GoFundMe.
I just think that it's really funny. There are a bunch of personal little caveats that I'm not going to get to you online that just make me really fucking happy about this play and where we're doing it now.
Definitely give us a like, and don't forget to share us with your social community.
And follow.
Please subscribe.
And
It don't cost nothing. Don't cost nothing to subscribe.
And if you are someone that wants to sponsor an episode, please reach out to me or Bill, and we will do a hilariously appropriate commercial for you.
Yes, we shall. Yes, we shall. What else? What else you got, Lindsay? What's going on at the Spine?
So we did our drag episode. Next weekend we have Teas and Tropes in Nashville. So if you are in Nashville, come out to Teas and Tropes. We'll have a booth there.
Yeah.
We did an author signing today with a science fiction author who was absolutely fantastic. Like I just loved him to pieces.
By the way, are you familiar with Ariella Tallis?
I don't think so.
She's a best-selling author from Indiana. I did a panel with her at the Imaginarium convention.
We need to get her on our show then.
We do, because she's got an excellent marketing strategy that I've talked this with Dennis Dyker from the Smithereens, and
oh my God, I love the Smithereens so much.
And 100 other authors and musicians, and I was astounded at this piece. But we'll get back to we'll get her on the program.
There is a distinct possibility, that we might have a very special guest that I can't get into yet. I'm still waiting on it, but speaking of the Odyssey, there is a very distinct possibility we might have a related guest coming on. So,
you're gonna set us up with Homer.
Yes, I have. I'm gonna get into Hades is gonna get him on the horn.
You found him, resurrected him.
I did.
Dan Klefstad's vampire.
We're homies, man.
All right, Linz. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.
Hello. YouTube. I just flew in, and boy, are my ears tired. Hey, that Epstein stuff is wild, huh? So, did you know you are paying taxes to Epstein's client list? And that's no joke. Hey, what does Trump use instead of email? Alternative facts. Boom, boom. But seriously, Epstein was late to a meeting. He blamed it on human traffic. Too soon? So the only way to kill this set is to put it on Pam Bondi's desk. Is this thing on? Why is it wrong to compare ICE to Nazis? Nazis didn't wear masks. So Trump has had one good idea. After all, the Chinese built a Great Wall 2,000 years ago, and they still don't have any Mexicans. any. Mexicans, wow, tough crowd. You've been a great audience. Don't forget to tip your wait person.
Stupid, stupid.